Everyone, thanks for stopping by the Standards Weekly Check-In. I'm Colin. Behind the camera we got Dylan.
What's up?
Today we're going to be going through some staff picks, some new arrivals, recently priced records, and at the end address some YouTube questions. As always, if you see anything you like, you can hit the DMs on Instagram, give the shop a ring, or just cruise by. We're open 11 to 8, 7 days a week. So without further ado, let's get into some staff picks. I forgot if I brought this up last time, but these like mid-2000s stock copies of Victory Records stuff have been, my distributor got them for some reason, so they're all very cheap, and I don't know, I was like, Victory Records was like my era of hardcore, and I was like way too cool for all of it at the time. I was like, Integrity was my shit, but everything else was like too commercial or something, which is fucking ridiculous to think about, like All Out War being like in cold blood. Oh, that's mainstream. I don't listen to that. I listen to Catharsis. Dumb. Anyways, so I've been just getting them to have in the store, because if you didn't know, Victory Records is like officially done or under whatever, so I don't know if we'll get a chance to get these records back in, so I've been kind of getting these in quantity. Listen to that Snapcase too, which I definitely never listened to growing up, and pretty nice, pretty tolerable, a lot better than I thought growing up, which makes me kind of question if I need to revisit the Victory catalog, and if so, that's going to be a really depressing chapter of my life. To make me happy from that depression, I'll listen to some 80s Diana Ross, which is always a good time. This I enjoyed quite a bit. Produced by Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters fame, and it's like very guitar-driven 80s funk. Especially this, I put a track, the Pieces of Ice. So you got Ray Parker Jr. producing, Diana Ross with one Joe Walsh on guitar. So for all of you James Gang fans, you're going to need to get this mid-80s Diana Ross record to complete your collection. Really good. I like a big fan of guitar-driven 80s records. Also just like all those names strung together, I feel like a lot of cocaine consumption. I don't know. And so got some I feel I'm only bringing this up because I feel like people are sleeping on old Adrian Belew. I get a couple of his records in, and they just sit around, and I feel that's inappropriate. If you didn't know, he's a singer on the King Crimson records from like 80s and on, like those weird Shape records that they did and all that. And just a nice singer in his own right, doing like quirky. Here's what I think it is. Like, you got like David Byrne and Eno and like Robert Fripp at like the cool kid table, and like Adrian Belew comes up and is like, oh hey Robert, how's it going? And they're just like, oh boy, this guy. You know this guy? Yeah, he sings in my band. Like, you know that Eno and like David Byrne are like talking about like David Bowie on like a first name basis. Oh, David's in town. Adrian Belew doesn't get any of that love. But I'm just saying, in a world where like, you know, we're putting Talking Heads records up on like this crazy pedestal that I don't know if they've ever been on before, give old Adrian Belew a crack. It's a very quirky 80s new wave with a little bit of a eccentric technical slant. Thumbs up on this record. What do you got for the people, Dylan?
All right. Well, let's see. Got Billy Joel. Glass House is an Innocent Man. Honestly, didn't realize we had it till like the very last like 2 hours of today. But always, I don't know, nostalgic for me to go back. Nostalgic as in being a middle schooler and listening to this in my dad's car.
You sure these don't take you back to the docks in 79?
Oh, it does take me back to the docks of 79, watching a guy play the piano at a smoky bar.
Little did you know that guy playing the piano
would be Billy Joel.
Yeah.
I used to go to the bar and wait for him to come in when his friend's band would play, just to see if he would show up and fill in for like 12 hours and play a set.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it's always fun to go back to those, but this is a fun record too, the Grace Jones Living My Life. What's that song? My Jamaican Guy?
Yeah.
That's
the hit on there?
I always like that song.
She did a cover of that TVOD band, Warm Leatherette, which I always thought was a really odd choice.
Yeah, I think that's isn't that?
I think it's called Warm Leatherette.
Yeah.
Similar covers, right?
I think. Yeah, I think it's like a full body picture of her. She's like sitting.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But that album's really good too. Just like good mix of, everything.
Yeah, it's just like music you put on and feel cool that you're listening to it, right?
Yeah. It's something for everyone while they're in the store.
Right. Good store music.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, shall we get to the flip through?
Yeah.
All right. So Dylan, did you see any good movies over the weekend?
Yeah, I saw one of my favorite films of the year, Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Oh, what a crazy coincidence. I also saw Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Oh.
And the reviews are in. Dylan?
You know, thought about it long and hard. It is my number 6 movie out of 9. But I give it a 6 out of 10. But it is my number 6 out of 9 movies.
I also thought about it not long or hard at all. I just watched this movie. It was so goddamn stupid.
I don't know why you would think that.
It was, the official review. Well, whatever. It appeased the fan, obviously. Fan is in singular because there's not a lot of Saw fans in the world. They got greenlit for another month, so there will be Saw. There'll be,
Pig from the Book of Saw or something.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Puppets.
I was
Traps from the Book of Saw.
I want to see Cruella from the Book of Dog.
Oh,
frankly.
That's a good one.
I don't think I'm going to see that movie, honestly.
Let's go watch it tomorrow.
No, I'm not. I never did theater in high school. I'm not allowed to watch Cruella from the Book of Dog. I know how this works. I know.
But you have half a head.
Yeah, but one isn't black and one isn't white. They won't let me in. Cruella stands are vicious, man.
Whatever. We'll go. Me and you.
Definitely won't.
We're gonna watch Cruella.
I can't believe you got me to watch Spiral
from the Book of Saw.
From the Book of Saw. It was horrible.
It wasn't. All right, guys. Just a heads up. Colin's into like these artsy films, like A24 and related, and like whenever it's horror related, it has to be from A24 or like some Italian like horror movies, like Italian Dracula. That's why he's hating on Spiral and all these Saw movies, quite frankly.
These movies, I feel, are confused as to what they are. Like, this one didn't feel like a Saw movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit, the first 15 minutes were just like Chris Rock stand-up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which I wasn't mad at. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But then, like, just segues into this police procedural thing. I'd probably agree. It is somewhere in the 6s or in the middle. I would watch that before I'd watch, I think, 2 through 4.
How'd you feel about that New Jack City reference?
Fun. Again, as a Chris Rock fan, I felt like I was
watching Chris Rock.
Yeah, I was not. They didn't undersell me on Chris Rock. See, here's a hot take. When Everyone Loves Chris came out, or whatever.
Oh, it's called Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, as a Chris Rock fan,
you already loved him.
I was a little bit like, could be a little bit more Chris Rocky. All right, we got one YouTube comment this week from regular commenter D Void asking, do you lean Arise or Monolith? Speaking of some Amoebix, which I'm always down for some Amoebix talk. You a big Amoebix guy?
Not enough to have a conversation.
Any conversation on any subject?
I'll just say they're good and then leave it at that. I can't really get deep into knowledge.
Yeah, no, I'm like you might see like the Amoebix tattoo and think like, oh, this is some like remnant of like a weird crust phase this guy was going through or something. But like, no, I'm like still all in. It's like an awe-inspiring band to me, and I think Monolith kind of like really cemented my obsession, I guess, with them, because it's just a really perfect title for the record, because it is just like one unit. I like Arise a lot. I don't think they have a note of like bad music that they recorded in the studio. One of those like perfect discographies. I don't know. I think Monolith is sort of like just. I guess I appreciate, my favorite bands in the world are like Motorhead and Killing Joke, and here's a band that like was able to fuse that with like kind of anarcho-punk ethics and post-punk sounds, like Joy Division obviously being really prominent in the mix. And I guess it's just really inspiring to see that come from like a punk world, if that makes sense. Like it's not outsiders just taking this music and going in a crazy place. Like you listen to New Order or something, you don't really feel those are just rock gods just off in their own plane. Or you listen to Killing Joke, frankly, like those guys are way too high-minded to be considered like punk guys, But Amoebix, it's like they're from like that bedrock, and from that bedrock they built Monolith, just this really one of the weirdest records on the planet. I'm disappointed with the Amebix's status in like the pantheon of punk music. I don't feel like they're shoved down people's throats enough. They used to be. That's why I gave them. That's why I was just like grew up being like people yelling at me to listen to Amebix. I did not get it forever, and then yeah, playing Monolith front to back over and over again, while playing it was Empire Strikes Back for the NES, which is a good game, underrated, a lot better than Star Wars, which is also a really good game for the NES. But yeah, I just playing that game in and out and listening to this fucking weird, desperate squatter crust record on repeat and just having it just embedded in my mind. Again, not that I haven't had that with Arise, but Monolith is just like everything that band is on that record, and everything that like you can aspire to do with using punk music as a foundation, I think, is on that record. And yeah, I don't know, I was having that thought today. I was like, I think kids are probably like, if you're like a punk kid, you're probably more told to listen to like kids are probably listening to like Bathory and like Sarcophago and like weird like crazy cult metal bands before they're like have someone push Amebix on them. They're just so fucking weird and out there. But anyways, yeah, to answer the question, Team Monolith all the way, baby. And if you have any questions or subjects you'd like addressed, leave a YouTube comment in the video below and we'll address them next week. That's all I got. Anything, Dylan?
Watch Spiral from the Book of Saw in theaters now. Go
on
ahead and just watch it.
Spiral from the Book of Saw. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Like, oh boy, this guy.